Hey, what's going on, CoinOpTV subscribers? Robert Welkner here. Let's talk about Servant, episode 10, which is called Balloon on Apple TV+. This is the season finale, and it was a fun and great episode. Exciting, thrills, chills. I felt like I was watching a murder mystery or a thriller or horror scene or something like that. A lot of fun things sort of unfolding and some layers in the episode. And before I get started talking about episode 10, let me just address quickly some comments and reactions from my video from last week, episode 9. First off, I got a lot of rude comments in that, and it was a little bit surprising because a lot of people just kind of were just like, "Hey Rob, what are you on drugs? Are you smoking? Are you high? You don't deserve to review videos. How could you not follow this episode?" And to my defense with that, in episode 9, as I said in my video, it was a little jarring, it was a little confusing with all the back and forth between the past, the flashbacks, and the present tense, and in-between tense, and there was no shot of Jericho being taken out of the house with Dorothy to go shopping, and there's no shot of Jericho in the car with Dorothy when she's coming home, and people pretty much put two and two together, and they sort of implied that she left Jericho in the car. And I was sort of saying that last video that I didn't quite understand that or see that. I still don't know how he died. And so that's, I basically watched the episode twice, and I could see how the implications, you can kind of connect those dots in those ways. But hey, they didn't, M. Night, when he directed that episode, he didn't really show that. It was weird because it was sort of like the episode to sort of explain what happened to baby Jericho. And he filmed that, shot that, edited that very vague and jarring, and I just thrown out my honest opinion, and it was a one-off thing that I watched once, and then I made my video. I watched a second time. I actually watched that episode now like 3 times, and some of the scenes I've watched multiple times just to sort of like look for any more information there. And it's just, it's one of those things where like, hey, I threw out a video saying, hey, what do you guys think? And you guys gave me your feedback and your thoughts, and some of y'all were rude, and that's cool. I've been making videos on YouTube for 15 years. I could take the heat, but I just thought I would kind of just mention that there was none of those shots that I think would have been key moments to really spell it out and explain things. So that's my 2 cents on episode 9. Let's talk about episode 10, which pretty much explained everything and was visual and was really what I wanted from the last few episodes of the season leading up to the finale. A lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, sort of action-ish. I mean, we had police driving around the neighborhood. We had crowds of people. This was like the biggest episode yet. We were outside the house a lot. We were in different locations, technically with the flashback of the video, and also the video they were sort of showing of the baptism there. So let me get to my notes here. So we get Jericho's baptism, which happens off screen, off camera, but we do actually see a little of the video at the house there. We get sort of a creepy shot of Aunt May and Uncle George watching the baptism that Juliet sort of spots there in the video. It was totally like Blair Witch moment there. It was kind of funny and interesting there. We got a fun scene with Sean trying to bribe off Uncle George in the cellar there, who's not having any of that. And he says an interesting line. He says, "Do you know who you welcomed into your home?" says Uncle George. And at first I was like, is he talking about like baby Jericho? Is baby Jericho an angel, a demon, a devil? And then I was thinking, oh, he must be talking about Leanne, who you invited into your home as Leanne, as the caretaker, and what her situation is. Is she good? Is she bad? Is she neutral? Does she have powers? Is she not? People sort of label her as a servant of God, an angel, having some abilities. We sort of see a little more of this. If last week's episode was sort of Dottie and Jericho's origin, this week was a little more of Leanne's origin story, pretty much. Also, Uncle George tells Sean how Dorothy and Leanne met many years ago, and he says that Leanne likes to please people that she loves and hurt people that she doesn't love. So that's a pretty like threatening, intense kind of thing to say. M. Night has sort of talked about the show where there's kind of 2 sides to each equation, that there could be a fantasy element, or maybe everything actually kind of happens in real life. And it's just kind of funny to try and put things together, piece things together with conversation and dialogue with you guys and what's sort of shown in the show. It's kind of making it very interesting water cooler kind of moments. It's like, dun, dun, dun. So it seems like Dorothy has a little bit of a wake up in this episode when she's interacting with the little girl and her own little doll, and she's holding it and actually drops the doll. Looks like she has a little bit of a flashback there, remembering that something bad happened to the real Jericho. And, maybe in season 2, some of this will be expanded upon where she has more episodes where it's sort of like, maybe season 2 will be Dorothy, Dottie, realizing that the whole Leanne Jericho thing was fake. But since Sean has become a little bit more of a believer, maybe he'll be the one pushing the narrative next year. Like, no, we gotta find it, figure this out and stick with it or something. It'd be interesting to see. And then of course, we'll see how things go with Julian and his new girlfriend as well. If they'll be all back for season 2. So it seems that in the episode that after Dorothy meets Aunt May and she kind of has a little bit of this click in her head, there's a wake up call that she's like, hey, I remember this Aunt May person. I got to figure it out. And it just so happens that she keeps an archive of all of her newscasts down in the living room there on the DVDs, the Blu-rays. So she runs down, grabs the archive, is watching some videos, and she sees that Aunt May was actually May Markham, part of the Church of Lesser Saints. It looks like maybe a cult who held some children captive. So at the end of the episode, Leanne packs up her stuff. She leaves the house. She's embraced outside by Aunt May, Uncle George, a group of random people outside. They get a nice little hug there, a little group hug. It's a nice visual. It's a great scene. I know this seems like a minor point, but it's great. And it's kind of fun seeing the outside of the house after being inside and claustrophobic so much of the house. Whenever they go outside now, it seems like such a big deal. And that was probably in the intentions of the producers and the directors, was like, let's keep it inside the house. And then when we go outside, it'll be sort of a big deal there. So once Leanne is gone, she goes to the crib, and baby Jericho is now a doll again, or has been swapped by fake baby Jericho in the crib. It's a little unclear with that. It sort of seems like when Dorothy's looking at it, she can tell that, hey, this is a doll, and that sort of triggers back to the little girl's doll that she interacted with earlier. So maybe her the awakening of Dottie is that she can kind of now tell when baby Jericho is real or fake or alive or not. So it's definitely a big cliffhanger leading into the next season. And I wrote down some questions here. Will Sean and Dottie and Julian go on a crusade to try and track down Leanne? Will we be following Leanne and her story with Uncle George and Aunt May? And maybe she'll be rebelling against their cult, maybe rejoining Sean and Dottie. Will that be the thing? Is this really a cult? Is it a family? That's kind of implied as well. Also, regarding baby Jericho, did he actually revert back to his doll form because Leanne left the house? She kind of kissed him goodbye, said her goodbyes and left, and therefore baby Jericho reverts back to his doll form, which was weird because now it's like she's animating a doll. Was she bringing back the real dead Jericho into life, or was she just animating a doll for all to see? So we'll have to see if that gets explained. I guess if Dottie and Sean can free Leanne from the cult and get her back, maybe she can reawaken Jericho for them again, and they can all be happy. Again, a lot of twists, a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of fun talking points, and that's why I wanted to sort of make these videos. And I do appreciate all the comments that you guys have been giving me with your theories. Even though some of them were rude last week, it was like, okay, that's fine. I'll read them, I'll respond, give my 2 cents. And I'm sure there's a lot of things in this episode that I may have missed touching on, or maybe flew right by me on a one pass watching, but that's okay. When season 2 comes out, probably rewatch season 1 again so I can get a little bit of refresher and get kind of things going. And also, it's a little bit bittersweet that I feel like this is the tail end of like a little bit of the Apple TV Plus Phase 1 shows. I mean, they really jammed and crammed a lot of them out, dropping like the whole season of Dickinson at once and 3 episodes in the beginning of each of the shows, like For All Mankind, Morning Show, Servants, Truth Be Told. I wish that they would have kind of spread things out a little more so we'd kind of have more interactions, more things to watch in January and February. Feels like we're going to have a little bit of a gap now. And I'm curious if people are going to be just leaving Apple TV Plus or what. I don't really know what the next show is. You'll have to let me know in the comments what the next show is I should watch on Apple TV Plus. and review and talk about. And also same with Disney Plus after Mandalorian. There's a little bit of a gap of new content there to kind of check out. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you're brand new, please subscribe, leave the comments, share, whatever. And look forward to your comments and your feedback and your discussion about The Servant season finale. Thanks a bunch. We'll see you guys next time.